Tyler Perry, a name that evokes success, resilience, and ascension. A man who rose from nothing to become one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood, massive studios in Atlanta, box office hits, a fortune well over $1 billion, and a public image that seemed almost untouchable, a devout businessman, a role model for an entire generation. But in June 2025, that image suddenly begins to crack. An actor previously unknown to the general public, Derek Dixon, has just filed a formal lawsuit with the Superior Court of Los Angeles. A 36-page complaint accusing Tyler Perry of sexual assault, harassment, psychological manipulation, and professional retaliation. The damages sought, $260 million. But beyond the money, it's the details that are shocking. Explicit messages, specific descriptions of physical encounters, private invitations across various cities, and above all, a carefully laid web of influence. It all begins in Atlanta. At the time, Derek is not yet an actor. He's working for Legendary Events, a high-end event planning company, tasked with organizing a luxurious evening affair. That night, as he's serving guests, he unexpectedly catches Tyler Perry's eye. To Derek's surprise, the Hollywood giant speaks to him, a compliment on his appearance, a vague reference to a project, and an invitation to audition. For Derek, it feels surreal. He has no agent, no connections, just a dream. Weeks later, he lands a small role on Ruthless, a brief appearance, a solid performance. The team congratulates him. Perry seems pleased. Still, Derek goes back to his day job at Legendary Events. He knows how the industry works. Most promises lead nowhere. But Perry doesn't forget him. Soon, the private messages start. Perry praises Derek's acting, then invites him to events in Los Angeles, in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and back in Atlanta. The tone shifts from professional to personal. Flirty comments, remarks about his looks, ambiguous phrases like thick Derek or hips that twist. At first, Derek is flattered, then uncomfortable. But every time, Perry brings it back to the same promise. I'm going to produce your show. You're going to write. You'll become a star. I believe in you. Derek wants to believe him. After all, it's Tyler Perry, Hollywood royalty, a respected, beloved figure extending a hand. If it means tolerating a few awkward texts, maybe that's just the price of breaking through. He has no idea that this price is about to go far beyond discomfort. Perry invites him to dinner again. Private settings, sometimes far from any studio. They talk. Perry gives him a luxury car. No explanation. Derek is shocked, but he accepts. Then comes a pivotal moment. I want you to work only for me, Perry says. Forget your other job. Move into my studios. Eventually, Derek gives in. He quits Legendary Events and moves into a private residence on set. Officially, it's a promotion. In reality, it's isolation. Now everything runs through Perry. Messages, expectations, events. Alcohol is delivered to Derek's home regularly. Video calls become daily, often at night. Perry speaks of his loneliness, his past traumas. He opens up, then demands the same, and he issues warnings. Don't talk to anyone about our conversations. They wouldn't understand. He's no longer a mentor. He's a man in control. And Derek, with no agent, no allies, begins slipping into a spiral: hope, pressure, confusion. Then everything shifts in Douglasville, Georgia. At a private residence owned by Perry, Derek is invited to what seems like a casual evening. They drink, they talk. As the night winds down, Perry urges him to stay. You've had a few drinks. You're tired. It's safer here. Derek agrees. He expects to sleep in the guest room. But in the middle of the night, everything changes. He feels someone beside him. It's Perry, quiet at first, then touching him, lightly, then boldly. He caresses Derek's body, places his hands on his thighs, whispers in his ear. Derek, stunned, pulls back. He says no. He wants it to stop. But Perry presses on, compliments, stares, whispers. "Turn over," he says. "This isn't flirtation. This isn't seduction. It's invasion." A power grab, through the body. Derek gets out of the bed, shaken. He stays up all night, alert, disturbed. The next day, Perry calls. He sends messages. He apologizes. "I sabotaged myself," he says. "I'm sorry." And then the familiar refrain, "I'm still producing your show. Don't worry, we'll make it happen." Derek is lost, still in shock, but hopeful. Maybe it was just a one-time slip. He convinces himself to move forward. But that night wasn't an accident. It was a line crossed. In the weeks that follow, Perry becomes more present. Derek lands a recurring role on The Oval. He plays a gay, vulnerable store clerk who trades sexual favors to survive, a character that eerily mirrors his own situation. Derek is unsettled, but Perry insists, "This role is for you." He urges him to quit his old job and focus solely on the show. Derek complies. He moves into another studio house. What seems like a privilege is, again, calculated isolation. More alcohol, more late-night calls. Perry talks about fantasies, about his body, about needing constant attention. The relationship becomes deeply inappropriate. Perry imposes silence. He forbids Derek from speaking to other cast members. He threatens, "You'll stir up drama. People will talk. There'll be rumors." The message is clear: stay silent or lose everything. Bit by bit, Perry ties Derek's character arc to their personal relationship. One day, discussing the season finale, Perry casually says, "I know who survives." Derek gets the message, and in the final episode, his character is shot. 4 bullets to the chest. It's a wake-up call, a message loud and clear. And still, Perry doesn't stop. He calls, he texts, he says, "You're beautiful. I can't stop thinking about you." He asks intimate questions. "Do you prefer men or women? What do you do in bed at night?" Derek tries to dodge the questions, to escape the spiral, but Perry always comes back. Sweet words, guilt trips, empty promises. "You know I care about you," Perry says, "but what are you giving me?" An invisible debt begins to grow, a debt that feels impossible to repay. One night, Perry wants to talk, to clear the air. Derek hesitates, then agrees. He goes to Perry's home. The mood is tense. Perry talks about trust, disappointment, then his tone shifts. He talks about Derek's body, his desires, and this time, he doesn't stop at words. He moves closer. He tries to undress him. He touches him, grabs him, tries to hold him down. Derek says no again and again. He fights back, panics, but Perry keeps going. "I know you want this," he whispers. "You're pretending." Derek finally escapes, terrified, shaken, frozen in fear. The next day, Perry calls, again. He cries. He says he's lost, that he didn't mean harm, that he's just lonely. And then, as always, the promise, "I'll fund your project. You deserve this. I won't leave you." But this time, Derek no longer believes him. Months pass. He cuts contact, but Perry keeps reaching out. In 2022, a new message comes, accusatory. "You never really said no." Perry blames him for not shouting, for not resisting harder, as if Derek were complicit. That line breaks him. He realizes this wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a moment of weakness. It was a system, a calculated abuse of power. In 2024, Derek takes action. He files a complaint with the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. He tells everything: texts, messages, promises, pressure. He submits screenshots, call logs, FaceTime records. After an investigation, the EEOC grants him the right to sue. He becomes an official plaintiff, not just a hurt actor, but a man with proof, ready to speak. On Friday, June 14, 2025, Derek files a public lawsuit in the Superior Court of Los Angeles, naming Tyler Perry as the defendant. The claims: sexual assault, harassment, emotional blackmail, retaliation. Every piece of evidence is documented. The amount sought: $260 million. The news explodes. Hollywood is in shock. How could the man with such a clean, spiritual, inspiring image hide such behavior for so long? The media erupts. Social media blazes. The hashtag boycott Tyler Perry goes viral. Some defend him, crying conspiracy. Others praise Derek's courage, comparing him to other survivors who dared to speak up. But what's most disturbing isn't just one incident. It's the pattern described in the lawsuit. A system, a chain of gestures, promises, threats, creating a clear and deliberate mechanism of control. And as the storm grows, Tyler Perry stays silent. No statement, no denial, no post, no interview, not even a glance at the public. To some, it's legal strategy. To others, it's a silent admission. Meanwhile, Derek faces a storm of his own: rumors, threats, people turning their backs. He says he's under pressure. He feels alone, but he doesn't stay quiet. He gives an interview. He opens up. He explains why he was silent, why he didn't scream, and why now he refuses to stay silent any longer. It's not about revenge, he says. It's about the truth. And the truth is uncomfortable, because behind the image of the beloved filmmaker, there may have been, according to Derek, a man willing to do anything to get what he wanted, and a system that let him do it. Derek is no longer alone. Other voices begin to whisper: former collaborators, rumors, suspicions. And one question echoes again and again: how many other Derek Dixons are still in the shadows?